What's the most real relationship advice you can give? Learning how to be bored together is important. You don't have to be on the go, doing stuff and planning stuff and being fun and exciting all the time. It's okay to just sit around and not do anything and not talk to each other. It's not unhealthy, I promise. In an ideal relationship, the contributions are 60-40, where both partners are the one trying to give 60%. My mom asked an elderly couple who had been married for decades what their secret was. They said that they act as if being nice to each other is a competition. That has always stuck with me. 1. Don't expect the other person to be able to read your mind. 2. Be a team, not opponents. 3. Everybody farts at some point. Don't lose yourself as an individual in a relationship. When you disagree, remember that you're on the same team. You're supposed to fight a problem, not the other person. This is such an awesome way of putting that concept. Always be mindful and thoughtful to that person's love map. Like they might need a quick text every morning when you get to work letting them know you're safe. Makes zero sense to you, but knowing it's something small and means the world to them, well, why the heck not? They might get stressed out, and you helping to clean the house for when they've finished work might mean more to them than someone else you've been with who wanted flowers to show love. Know what it is that your partner loves and makes them feel loved too. It's fine to not always want to spend 100% of your time with your spouse. Not every moment of every day is going to be bliss, and sometimes it really takes some effort. I love my wife to bits, but there are some days when I would just like to do things by myself. It doesn't mean our relationship isn't great, but it can be really refreshing to just take a stroll around a shopping center, or go and get some food alone or something. This 100%. My spouse goes weekly to a Pathfinder game. That's his alone time. I occasionally go to a punk show or have a beer with my friends. It can be even simpler. I will go read a book in the other room and get my alone time. He likes to cook, so heck start up in the kitchen and I stay away while he listens to his music. Everyone needs alone time. There's a reason it's called the honeymoon phase, and eventually you won't have as much to talk about other than how the day went, or might not always feel those butterflies in your stomach when you think about them. That's when it becomes a test in the relationship, and you both have to work on it to make it work. You will get into fights, but learn to get over them, or I doubt it'll last. Resentment can kill feelings for someone. You trade butterflies for familiarity, excitement for comfort. Listen to them. Communicate with them. Compromise sometimes. Duck them regularly. To elaborate on compromise, it doesn't always mean something we'll both enjoy. At times it will very likely mean today we do something my partner likes and that I sparingly tolerate, but tomorrow that reverses. Your spouse isn't going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. There will be mistakes and misunderstandings. What really matters in a relationship is not being perfect, but how you handle the imperfections of yourself and your spouse in a respectful, reasonable way. This is the best comment here, and the ones about communication. Guy here. This probably sounds simple, but here's what I've learned. Know yourself, where you're at in life. If you're in a shitstorm, legal crap, money crap, drugs and alcohol crap, legal crap, you're probably not ready for anything serious. Clean up your act first. Be honest. No matter how fricked up crap is, if you want to move forward in a serious way, all the cards got to be on the table. Take it slow. Get to know each other, but in the end, no secrets. There is some crap that is nobody's business, but I ain't talking about that. Know her, what she's been through, and what she wants out of life. You both need to be pretty much on board. You need to be heading for the same thing. Kids, buy a house or gypsy life. Don't matter. Keep a sharp eye on things. You need to make sure she's doing okay and let her know you're doing okay. Same with her to you. After that, it's just dodging stupid. Lots of wisdom here. No secrets and be on board with each other's plan is big. Relationships are work. They aren't always fun. You won't always be madly in love, and you can't put them on a shelf and ignore them. But they shouldn't be all work. Sometimes you have to spend years with shitty people to realize what you deserve. It was never a waste. You needed the experience to figure out what works best for you or what to avoid. You'll never forget your exes. They were there for a reason. Conversely, sometimes you need to spend years in bad relationships with good people before you realize that you're being a shitty person. Sometimes it's hard to see and harder to admit. Intimacy is way more important than most people realize. Like I've told my wife, yeah sure, there's lust involved. There's also interest in making your partner feel good as well. If that interest isn't there, your partner might as well be a sex toy for all they mean to you. You are never obliged to stay in a relationship. Doesn't frickin' matter what someone has threatened. If you aren't happy, frick 'em. If you aren't happy, frick 'em. And if that doesn't help, leave 'em. Communication is the foundation upon which everything else is built. They say don't go to bed angry, not because anger does something while you're sleeping, but because it means you didn't communicate properly and you're giving up on trying. Be calm, actively listen. Do not dismiss your partner's statements. Assume good faith. It's you and me versus the problem, not me versus you. If something's bugging you, talk to your so about it. If you feel enraged about something, wait until you're well fed, well rested, with warm extremities before talking about it. But talk about it at the first opportunity, calmly, rationally, and honestly. Keep the discussion limited to that one narrow thing. If something's bugging your so, hear them out. Never think, well, I'm not bothered by that, so it's not a problem. Think my so is bothered by this, and that's a problem. If you think the concern is unreasonable, frame the discussion as solving the problem of your so as being unhappy. The worst fights and arguments happen over trivial things, because it's not the trivial thing that's actually causing the problem. It's probably a series of things, or a general lack of satisfaction, and the toothpaste cap being left off is just the instigator of the fight. If you communicate often and openly, these things will not fester, they won't pile up, and you won't get into such fights. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. If they're mean, if they're vindictive, if they use you, if they show you that they don't really care about you, believe them. If they make you feel inadequate, on edge, scared, nervous, unworthy, or like a disappointment, believe them. If they're entitled, narcissistic, sociopathic, manipulative, or unfair, believe them. Life isn't a movie. You can't fix people who don't want to be fixed. More often than not, they just are who they are. So take off the rose-colored glasses and stop thinking love will find a way. If it isn't working, change it. Don't spend your precious time lamenting over a person who wouldn't genuinely lament over you. This sounds bleak, I know, but relationships and love are supposed to be the most beautiful thing in the universe. If your relationship is not improving your quality of life on the aggregate, you need to seriously reassess what you want in life, because you deserve better. You only get so much time to find people in your life that make it worth living. Don't get caught up on people who will make you wish you never lived it. Yes, you gotta make sure you're choosing them as advertised, not falling in love with their potential. I don't think your perspective is bleak at all. I think it's balanced and disillusioned. In related vernacular, choosing to believe who someone is a great example of living life on life's terms. It's not always easy, but it gets you out of a lot of unnecessary wrestling matches. If you go into a marriage long-term commitment with the impression that you'll be happy all the time and your life will only change for the better, you are absolutely wrong. Be realistic that there will be days you won't be able to stand each other, your lives may absolutely hit rough patches and you will not agree on how or why that situation occurred or even how to get out of it, and the like. Go on holiday together. If you can agree on food, sleep soundly, compromise on activities and do your own thing one of the days and not get mad at each other, you stand a good chance of lasting a while. I love my boyfriend to bits and miss him a lot. We don't live together yet, but boy do I like sleeping on my own in bed sometimes. Space is healthy. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you have to live in each other's pockets. Agreed. I love my boyfriend, but I also love sleeping in my own bed sometimes. You don't need to be in one. Don't light yourself on fire to keep others warm. Love is a choice, not a feeling. Not talking about sexuality here. The butterflies go away eventually. It's inevitable, but you can choose to be committed anyway and build something beautiful together. Conversely, attraction is a feeling, not a choice. You cannot negotiate someone into being into you if they aren't. You have to be honest with them, especially when it's hard to do. Me and my boyfriend get uncomfortably real with each other sometimes, and something we have both learned is to listen to criticism without getting defensive. And when giving criticism, we don't attack each other, no matter how angry or sad we are at each other. I've had him call me out for certain behaviors that nobody has ever called me out on, and I've done the same for him. We're both better people for it because when we get it all out on the table, we have no choice but to work on ourselves. You have been visited by the smiley doggo. You will have happiness in your future, but only if you comment nice smile. Papa, I hope you enjoyed the video and find your significant other to have good times together. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.